Hey there. How are you guys all doing? I'm hoping well. What I'm about to tell you guys is a story that I'm sure everyone here has not once, not twice, but many a time has experienced throughout their lifetime. Close your eyes and imagine yourself walking into a classroom, or maybe a meeting, or perhaps a family gathering. But something feels slightly off. Maybe you mispronounced a word during your presentation. Or maybe the clothes that you have on today just didn't look that good on you. Or perhaps that one curious relative of yours suddenly asked, "So, what are your future plans?" And at that moment right there, you just didn't have a clear answer to that. And so, for the rest of the day, you bite your nails hard and you ponder about it. You assume that people noticed. You assume that they are judging you for it. And you also assume that it changed the way they look at you now. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. In one study by Thomas Gilovich and his colleagues, participants were asked to wear an embarrassing t-shirt into a room full of strangers. And they were also asked, how many people do they think are going to notice them? Most of them answered, maybe more than 50% would. The real number? Only 23% did. So then what does this number tell us? Well, for starters, it tells us that we are consistently overestimating how much others are paying attention to us. But here's the deeper issue. Even though the spotlight is merely imaginary, most of our life decisions are made as if it was real. We choose paths that looks impressive. We avoid risk because it might make us look bad. And we consistently measure ourselves to others. And in Vietnam, this pressure is being amplified by something extraordinarily powerful, giữ thể diện, saving face. In most Vietnamese households, your success is not just yours alone, it's collective. The higher your grades are in school, that just reflects your parents' teachings. The career path that you're going to choose for yourself in the future reflects your family's reputation. And the way that you act or behave in public reflects your upbringing. I'm sure as kids, many of us has heard phrases like, đừng có mà làm ba mẹ mất mặt. Don't you dare embarrass your parents. Người ta nhìn vào con á, là nhìn vào cả nhà. When they're looking at you, they're also looking at us. Or like, con phải cố gắng lên để mà gia đình tự hào về con. You have to try harder so that the whole family can be proud of you. Now these words, from our parents' perspectives, they are not meant to control. They are meant to protect. These words, they come from love, they come from sacrifice, and they come from a generation that has survived through hardships and instability. So to them, stability equals safety. A stable job means security. A predictable path means protection. And a good reputation means opportunity. So naturally, most families would encourage their children to pursue clear and respectable routes like medicine, education, finance, law, engineering. You know, the typical stable job that would most likely gonna get them a meal every day. Now, this cultural framework, sure, it creates a lot of strong motivational points for us all, but it also brings in an immense amount of invisible pressure. Because when your life stops representing just you alone, your mistakes feels heavier. A failed exam is not just a failed exam anymore. It feels like a disappointment. It feels as if you had let someone down. It feels like losing faith. And so over time, our identity becomes fragile. Is it because we are weak? No, we are not weak in whatsoever sense. It's just because now our value feels conditional. And this is where I would say the shift from the heir mindset begins to develop. An heir is to inherit a kingdom where the rules are pre-written, the expectations are clear, and the paths are already mapped out. An heir's job is to preserve that stability, to maintain reputation, and to protect what has been built. Psychologist Jennifer Crocker has described a similar concept in contingent self-worth. That is when our self-esteem is being based upon approvals and achievements. And when our identity is being tied to those external validation, people would experience increased in anxiety level, greater fear of failure, more self-monitoring, and increased stress during setbacks. In other words, when your job is to protect your kingdom, any disruptions feels dangerous. But here's the reality. Life changes, economies change, industry change, even your health will change over time, and opportunities will soon shift away if you keep on sitting right there. And a kingdom that is built on stability may not survive unpredictability, because when stability snaps, nothing feels right anymore. And many of us young people here are experiencing that problem right now. A major that you picked for yourself doesn't feel right anymore. A job market that is waiting for you in the future is becoming so uncertain over the days. And your family financial is shifting downward, and suddenly unexpected responsibilities now come bearing down your shoulders. And if our identity is being tied tightly to one outcome, we are bound to collapse with it. Because an heir was trained to preserve, not to redesign anything. Now, psychologists that are studying resilience consistently identify one key trait that predicts adaptation, and that is cognitive flexibility. That is our ability to update one's thinking even when circumstances change. It's like recognizing that the old map you have on your hand doesn't work anymore. And if you want to make it work, you got to draw on a new one. And so this is where I would say the shift from the heir to the master begins. An heir would ask themselves, how do I protect my status? How do I avoid embarrassment? And how do I stay on the original path? The master, on the other hand, would ask, what is needed right now? What can I contribute in this situation? And how can I respond effectively to this reality? Now, this shift may sound simple, but it actually changes the foundation of our identity. Because when we're now more focused on contributing, our identity becomes more stable. In a research done by Elizabeth Dunn and Lara Aknin, people who engage in pro-social behaviors, like helping others in need, actually says that their well-being increases. And in another study where participants were asked to do acts of kindness for 7 days straight, reported to have an increase in life satisfaction, greater positive emotions, less self-focused rumination, and reduced anxiety. So then why does this happen? Well, it happens because now our focus is shifting outward. And when our attention shifts outward, the spotlight effect weakens. Because now we are not too obsessed over how we appear anymore. And instead, we are now more engaged on solving real problems. Contribution builds capability. And capability then builds confidence. And the confidence that is built on contribution and capability is far more resilient than any confidence that is built on external validation. Personal story time. There was a period in my life where everything was perfect. My academic performance was central, and my future success were pretty much laid out. I just gotta do it. But like I said before, life changes when you least expect it. My family was suddenly hit with medical and financial challenges, and at that moment right there, my original life plan shattered. And maintaining my own image was not my priority anymore. Meeting real needs was. And so I started to work part-time jobs, tutoring English to little kids, and even supporting my family practically. Do I like it? No, because at that time, it feels like a deviation. It feels as if I have stepped outside of my comfort zone and I have deviated from my original plan. But as time passes by, it actually feels like growth. It feels as if I have grown as a person, because now my confidence is being built upon being useful. And usefulness does not depend on the perfect circumstances. It depends on the willingness to respond. And so this experience clarified something. Being the heir feels safe, but by becoming the master, I gain and I build strength. And so there was some changes to my life, and things suddenly feels, I wouldn't say correct anymore, but I am growing as a person each day. And so people would probably ask me that, why is this important to our generation? Well, today's generation faces with unprecedented visibility, from social media that amplifies comparison to others, to achievements being displayed literally everywhere, and success feels immediate and polished. Now these things, they strengthen the spotlight effect because it encourages performance over participation. And a performance-based identity is fragile. If validation decreases, our confidence decreases as well. When circumstances change, direction falls apart. In contrast, a participation-based identity is adaptive. If you know how to create value for yourself, then you can rebuild in different contexts. If you know how to solve problems, then you are not tied tightly to one title or one outcome. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I call true mastery. Many of us were taught to protect stability, to maintain faith, and to meet up with expectations, to avoid mistakes. But here's the problem. We were trained well as heirs, but this world, it's not static. And so if we want to work, then we have to ask ourselves, what is needed right now? So tomorrow, I want you to do this. When you wake up tomorrow and you walk out those doors, you do your thing, I want you to ask yourself, what is needed right now when that anxiety touches you? When that anxious feelings of someone judging you touches you, I want you to ask yourself, what is needed right now? And then act. Because tomorrow, you will help someone understand something difficult. You will support a team members of yours. You will solve a practical problem in your home. And you will do so, you will contribute without expecting an ounce of recognition in return. Each of the action that you take tomorrow will reduce the power of the imaginary spotlight. Each of the action that you take tomorrow will strengthen your ability to respond to reality. And over time, your identity will shift from preservation to creation. Like I said before, many of us were taught to protect stability, to maintain faith, to avoid mistakes, and to meet up with expectations. We were trained well as heirs, but this world is not static. It will outrun you if you just keep sitting there. It will only reward in adaptability. It will only reward initiative, and it will definitely reward those who can step up and step on further when directions falls apart. The spotlight effect continuously tells us that everyone is watching us closely. But the reality is, everyone else is too busy worrying about themselves first. So instead of being stuck in your tiny and protected kingdom, smash it, break it, go unscripted, Go outside of that imaginary zone of yours. Honor where you came from, but never, ever be limited by it. Stop being the heir of your tiny and protected world, and start by becoming the master of your own true life. From heir to master, rewriting the story of your life. Thank you.